In this module, we shall learn about the concept and functions of packaging, the requisites of a good package, the concept of labeling, the various requisites that a label should provide, and the concept and the elements of brand.
Packaging and labeling do more than protect and identify your company's products. They play a vital role in developing your image and brand within your target market. Failing to pay attention to the design of your packaging and labeling can decrease the visibility and attractiveness of your product, which can be devastating for sales. Packaging is the technology of enclosing or protecting products for distribution, storage, sale, and use. Packaging also refers to the process of design, evaluation, and production of packages. Packaging can be described as coordinated system of preparing goods for transport, warehouse, logistics, sale, and end use. Packaging contains, protects, preserves, transports, informs, and sells. In many countries, it is fully integrated into government, business, institutional, industrial, and personal use. Packaging has 4 distinct marketing functions. According to the book Essentials of Marketing by Charles W. Lamb and his colleagues, it contains and protects your product. It promotes your product. It helps consumers use your product, for example, by allowing them to resell it between uses. Finally, packaging facilitates recycling and reduces environmental damage. Your product's label delivers your sale message. You can explain what benefits you offer that competitors do not, or promote a price or discount. You also can develop brand goodwill by showing customers you share their values. For example, images of happy families, healthy athletes, and green pastures each speak to different types of consumers. Labels also must fulfill your legal obligations. Food manufacturers, for example, must publish detailed nutritional information in a specific format and employ marketing terms such as low fat, reduced cholesterol that conform to federal regulations. Finally, your product might need a UPC or Universal Product Code, especially if it will be sold in high volume retail outlets. A notable logo and color scheme can help differentiate your product from those of your competitors, as can the shape of the product and packaging. Bright colors attract attention and draw the customer's eye, unless all your competitors have bright packaging and labels. In that case, a subdued design scheme might stand out more. For example, some potato chip companies use understated designs on gourmet style products to differentiate themselves from brightly colored mass appeal items on the same shelf. Novel packaging can attract consumers, but practicality is equally important. For example, if your competitor uses resealable packaging for their food products, consumers might favor those products over yours simply due to their practical benefits. Inconvenient packaging, for instance, if the item is huge or hard to open or can hurt sales, when people see your product, they should think of your brand. The packaging and labeling of each item in your product line should match all others so that your promotion efforts can coordinate. For example, suppose you promote one type of product with a magazine advertisement, all other items in your product line will benefit from the exposure if they share similar design characteristics and a recognizable logo. A brand is a name, picture, design, or symbol or combination of those items used by a seller to identify its offerings and to differentiate them from competitors' offerings. Branding is the set of activities designed to create a brand and position it is in the minds of consumers. Did you know that the Beatles started a recording studio called Apple? When Apple Computer, the iPod company, was formed, Apple Corporation Limited, the Beatles recording studio, sued Apple Computers because two companies with the same name can create confusion amongst customers. This wasn't much of a problem when Apple was only selling computers, but following the release of iPod and launch of Apple's iTunes programs, a case could be made that the company's offerings are similar enough for consumers to confuse the two companies and their products. In fact, it wasn't very recently that the lawsuit over the name was settled, some 30 years after the initial lawsuit was filed. Nonetheless, the situation signifies how important brand names are to the companies that own them. A successful branding strategy is that which accomplishes what Coke and Apple have done. It creates consumer recognition of what the brand signified by its name, picture, design, symbol, and so on. This means, consequently, when marketing professionals are considering whether a potential new offering fits a company's image, they are very concerned about whether the offerings support the organization's brand and position in the minds of the consumer. For this reason, many consider branding to be much more than how the product is packaged or labeled, and they are right. Characteristics of the offering, such as pricing and quality, have to support the brand's position. If Apple stands for innovation, then products and services have to be innovative. But branding itself refers to strategies that are designed to create an image and position in the consumer's mind. In this module, we are going to discuss these three aspects of marketing related to the product, packaging, labeling, and branding.
To begin with, let us start with the concept of packaging. Kotler defines packaging as all the activities of designing and producing the container for a product. It serves to contain, identify, describe, protect, display, promote, and otherwise make the product marketable and keep it clean. Many products have different levels of packaging. This improves handling, storage, transportation, and display of a product. Packaging falls into three levels: primary level, secondary level, and the transit level. Primary packaging. The package which has enclosed the actual commodity is called primary level package. Such package remains attached with the actual commodity until the consumers have completely used it. Toothpaste tube is the example of primary package. Secondary packaging. The layer of cover added to the primary package for its protection is called secondary package. After bringing the product home or being ready to use the product, the secondary package is taken off or thrown. The cardboard box in which the tube of toothpaste is packed is the example of secondary package. The consumers do not keep secondary package for long. Transit packaging. It is used to facilitate identification, transportation, handling, and storing the products. Shipping package is very important and necessary for the products that are stored for long time, to carry far away and need to be loaded and unloaded several times. Wooden boxes, cartons, cardboard boxes, and plastic covers are examples of shipping package. Let us now move on to discuss the functions performed by packaging. Packaging serves more than merely being wrapper of the product. It performs the following functions. Labeling. This forms the written information on the package which is to be communicated to the consumer for informational or promotional purpose. Product transportation. The package is made according to the distance and the mode of travel it has to undertake. Durability. The products have to be in good condition when they reach the final consumer. To ensure this, the packaging has to take care of the product during the transit. Creating brand identity and shelf impact. The modern use of packaging is to promote the product, and for that, innovative packaging is done, like in case of ketchups, glass bottles are being replaced by plastic and more convenient bottles. This also acts as the identification for the product when competing with other products on the shelf. Pricing of the product. The packaging also helps in justifying the prices of the products or setting the price of the product as the case may be. A good packaged product can fetch a better price than a poorly packaged one. Depending on the product, packaging is usually the first thing a potential consumer will see, and it can be the key factor causing choice of one brand over the other. With this in mind, there are five things to think about when considering the packaging design. Labeling. The most important thing about a package is that people should be able to know what's inside it. Clearly labeling the product seems obvious, but can easily be forgotten with a complex campaign. Typography. The correct use of a font or a mixture of complementary fonts is a strong way to make sure that the brand is the most noticeable one on the shelf. The fonts should first and foremost be easy to read, but should also reflect the brand values and be suitable for the product and customers. Imagery. Visuals are a great way to get a product noticed and create an emotional connection with the consumer. Whether to use lifestyle shots or actually show the product itself will depend on how the brand is to be positioned in the marketplace. Materials. People are very tactile creatures, so the materials with which the package is created should be well considered. There are so many different finishing options available, it's important to evaluate which are best for the product, brand, and the target audience. Practicality. Careful consideration should also be given to how the product will be displayed. Will it be hung from a hook, stacked on top of one another, stood up? Good packaging design will take advantage of these potential restrictions in order to stand out. The points of importance of packaging are physical protection. The objects enclosed in the package may require protection from, among other things, mechanical shock, vibration, electrostatic discharge, compression, temperature, etc. Information transmission. Packages and labels communicate how to use, transport, recycle, or dispose of the package or product. With pharmaceuticals, food, medical, and chemical products, some types of information are required by the governments. Some packages and labels also are used to track and trace purposes. Marketing. The packaging and labels can be used by marketers to encourage potential buyers to purchase the product. Marketing communications and graphic design are applied to the surface of the package and in many cases the point of sale display also. Convenience. Packages can have features that add convenience in distribution, handling, stacking, display, sale, opening, reclosing, use, dispensing, reuse, recycling, and ease of disposal. Barrier protection. A barrier from oxygen, water vapor, dust, etc. is often required. Permeation is a critical factor in design. Some packages contain desiccants or oxygen absorbency to help extend shelf life. Modified atmospheres or controlled atmospheres are also maintained in some food packages. Keeping the contents clean, fresh, sterile, and safe for the intended shelf line is a primary function. Security. Packaging can play an important role in reducing the security risks of shipment. Packages can be made with improved tamper resistance to deter tampering and can also have tamper evident features to help indicate tampering. Packages can be engineered to help reduce the risk of package pilferage. Besides being an effective tool and an integral part of marketing, there are certain problems caused by packaging. Sometimes marketers use label information to mislead consumers by providing untrue information to exaggerate the attributes of their product. Labels that display nutrition information like low fat, fat free, cholesterol free, and 100% pure juices are examples. There are many cases in which marketers use pictures in packaging that do not represent the actual product. For example, packaging may make a certain product look nice and attractive, but the actual product may not be as good as depicted once opened. Consumers are concerned with packaging safety issues, especially when it comes to products for children. Marketers should avoid unsafe packaging that uses high ingredients of chemicals that are unsuitable for young children and are not tamper proof. Some marketers tend to label their products as environmentally friendly. However, the products actually do not have environmentally friendly attributes. For example, degradable trash bags actually remain intact for decades in a landfill. Packaging and labeling also produce a lot of excess waste that just gets thrown once the customer has purchased the product. A good package must have the following features to serve the purpose of an effective packaging: functional, effectively contain and protect the contents, provide convenience during distribution, sale, opening, use, reuse, etc., be environmentally responsible, be cost effective, appropriately designed for the target market, eye catching, communicate attributes and recommended use of the product and package, compliant with retailers' requirements, distinguishable from competitors' products, meet legal requirements for product and packaging, point of difference in service and supply of product.
A good package plays an important role in creating and maintaining the identity of a brand. Innovative packaging can place the company in an advantageous position over the competitors and will boost sales. It is, although, a known fact that whatever the cost of packaging is ultimately passed on to the consumer. Still, the modern day consumer expects a lot more than mere wrapping from packaging. The requisites of a good package are eye-catching appearance. A distinctive, unmistakable and eye-catching appearance is a signal at the point of sale to which all consumers and particularly the younger ones respond positively. Whatever stands out clearly in the monotonous competitive environment and is surprising scores points with the consumer. Any special effort that makes a special impression is good and costs more as well. Design, shape and color. The purpose of well considered design, creative printing and finishing is to entice the consumer to devote attention to the pack and its content at the point of sale. Aesthetics and attractiveness are major distinctive features and are in fact essential in some product segments. For example, beautiful packaging design is of central importance in the cosmetics and confectionery product groups. Consumers like to buy agreeably designed and decorative products. Functionality. Functional aspects are the basis for all successful packaging and thus for greater product success too. Product and aroma protection, hygiene and tightness, environmental responsibility and practical handling in both use and storage are just as important here as ideas that improve comfort like closure mechanisms, portioning and see-through windows. Innovation. Novelty has exceptionally strong appeal. An innovative pack can even make new products out of familiar ones. Unusual solutions, functional new developments and originality not only set design trends but also boost sales. Material. What is printed on board is read particularly willingly, while what is packaged in boards sells particularly well. Sustainability, easy disposal, and above all, great design variety and potential are particular features of the material. Popular with consumers, particularly high appeal and many other advantages too. Efficient communication. The packaging is the credible medium at the point of sale and is consulted willingly and intensively. This makes it an effective means of communication and, in addition, one that gets closer to the consumer than all others. If several of his senses are appealed to, what as well he can be persuaded particularly successfully. Multisensory appeal. Anyone who approaches consumers while several of his senses attracts greater attention, intensifies perception and stimulates interest in buying. Packaging that can be felt, smelt and heard as well as looked at wins the consumer's favor. So much so that he is willing to pay a higher price for this multisensory appeal. Appropriateness for the product packaging is considered to be an important indicator of quality. The quality of product therefore has to be communicated by good packaging and not just by promise of quality made in the text on the packaging. A credible overall work of art is created as a result in which the contents and the packaging are coherent and the consumer is convinced by their consistency. Value packaging is an excellent way to communicate sophistication, class and value. This makes it an ideal strategic option for expression premium positioning, as well as being the instrument of choice when a product needs to be upgraded or a brand needs to be revitalized. Product in classy packaging are particularly popular presents too. Additional benefits. Successful packaging not only combines what is pleasant with what is functionally useful but also provides additional benefits. For example, as a gift or presentation with entertaining components or simply by making it possible to continue using the packaging for something else after the product has been consumed.
Let us now move on to discuss the next concept, that is labeling. The American Marketing Association defines labeling as the information attached to or on a product for the purpose of naming it and describing its use, its dangers, its ingredients, its manufacturer, and the like. A label is usually thought of as printed material, but labeling in the broader sense has been ruled to include spoken information and separate promotional pieces if they serve the information purpose and are closely allied to the product. Labeling is an integral part of packaging and is anything that is communicated through writing, electronic printing, or graphical demonstration on the package. Labeling includes brand label. It gives the brand name, trademark, or logo. It does not supply sufficient product information. Label is used on soap, for example, Lux, Hammam, Rexona, etc. Grade label. It states the expected quality of the product. This is what the consumer can expect after using the product. Descriptive label. It gives information about the feature, using instruction, handling, security, etc. of the products. Descriptive label is used for the products whose grade cannot be differentiated. Informative label. It provides information about the product. Using method and security of the product, name of the producer, manufactured date, expiry date, name of the intermediary, additional instructions regarding the use of the product, etc. are mentioned in informative label. Some of the important functions that labeling performs are: identify. A label helps the product to be identified among various other products. The label has the information regarding the name, brand, product details, and other information about the product. Grade. It is a type of labeling that is done for commodities, for example, basmati rice, and indicates differences in quality. Describe. A label performs the important functions of describing the product. The consumer can make an image of the actual product by reading the label and knows what to expect when the product is actually used. For example, any cosmetic product label will explain the product in detail and how it is to be used. Promote. A label also promotes the product by communicating to the consumer about its values. For example, any cosmetic product will state the benefits of the product by its continued usage and also by the usage of other products in the same product line.
Packaging and package labeling have several objectives. These include physical protection. The object enclosed in the package may require protection from, among other things, mechanical shock, vibration, electrostatic discharge, compression, temperature, etc. Barrier protection. A barrier from oxygen, water, vapor, dust, etc. is often required. Permeation is a critical factor in design. Some packages contain desiccant or oxygen absorbers or to help extend shelf life. Modified atmospheres or controlled atmospheres are also maintained in some food packages, keeping the content clean, fresh, sterile and safe for the intended shelf life is a primary function. A barrier is also implemented in cases where segregation of two materials prior to end use is required, as in case of special paints, glues, medical fluids, etc. At consumer end, the packaging barrier is broken or measured amounts of material removed for mixing and subsequent end use. Containment or agglomeration. Some objects are typically grouped together in one package for reasons of efficiency. For example, a single box of 1000 pencils requires less physical handling than 1000 single pencils. Liquid powders and granular materials need containment. Information transmission. Packages and labels communicate how to use, transport, recycle or dispose of the package or product. With pharmaceuticals, food, medical and chemical products, some types of informations are required by the government. Some packages and labels also are used for track and trace purposes. Most items include their serial and lot numbers on the packaging, and in the case of food products, medicines and some chemicals, the packaging often contains an expiry or best before date, usually in a shortened form. Packages may indicate their material with a symbol. Marketing. The packaging and labels can be used by marketers to encourage potential buyers to purchase the product. Package graphic design and physical design have been important and constantly evolving phenomena for several decades. Marketing communications and graphic designs are applied to the surface of the package, in many cases the point of sale and display. Most packaging is designed to reflect the brand's message and identity. A single serving shampoo packet. Security. Packaging can play an important role in reducing the security risks of shipment. Packages can be made with improved temper resistance to deter tempering and also can have temper evident features to help indicate tempering. Packages can be engineered to help reduce the risks of package pilferage or the theft and resale of products. Some package constructions are more resistant to pilferage and some have pilfer indicating seals. Counterfeit consumer goods, unauthorized sales, material, substitution and tampering can all be prevented with these anti-counterfeiting technologies. Packages may include authentication seals and use security printing to help indicate that the package and contents are not counterfeit. Packages can also include anti-theft devices such as die packs, RFID tags or electronic article surveillance tags that can be activated or detected by devices at exit points and require specialized tools to deactivate. Using packaging in this way is a means of loss prevention. Convenience. Packages can have features that add convenience in distribution, handling, stocking, display, sale, opening, reclosing, use, dispensing, reuse, recycling and ease of disposal. Portion control. Single serving or single dosage packages has a precise amount of content to control usage. Bulk commodities such as salt can be divided into packages that are a more suitable size for individual households. It also aids the control of inventory. Selling sealed 1 liter bottles of milk rather than having people bring their own bottles to fill themselves.
We shall now discuss the concept of branding. A brand is a name, symbol, or any other feature that distinguishes a seller's goods or services in the marketplace. Brands serve their owners by allowing them to cultivate customer recognition of and loyalty towards their offering and supplies information about the quality, origin, and value of goods and services. An established and respected brand can be the most valuable asset a company possesses. Branding is when that idea or image is marketed so that it is recognizable by more and more people and identified with a certain service or product when there are many companies offering the same service or product. It is the process of strategizing what you want your brand to be, making choices that support your brand goal, and implementing the many components throughout your company that achieve that goal.
The functions of branding are: brand names help consumers identify the product. Brand name and trademark provide legal protection to the company against the competitors. Advertising professionals work on branding not only to build brand recognition but also to build good reputation and a set of standards to which the company should strive to maintain or surpass. A brand is a vision. Managers aspire to see a brand with a cluster of values. In this context, vision is similar to goal or mission. Branding is also a way to build an important company asset, which is a good reputation. Branding can build an expectation about the company service or products and can encourage the company to maintain that expectation or exceed them, bringing better products and services to marketplace. So, it positions the company's product. Branding is an important part of internet commerce as branding allows companies to build their reputation as well as expand beyond the original product and service and add to the revenue generated by the original brand. A brand is made up of several elements. Most important ones are brand position. A company's brand helps to identify who the company is addressing and what is the company doing for them. The company can position itself based on its unique selling proposition and how its customers would benefit from its products or service. It carves out the space within the company, its operation, the micro environment comprising of the competitors. Brand promise. It is the most important thing that the brand will deliver to its customers every time independent of the store location. It is how the customers will always feel about the product. For example, McDonald's maintains its taste at every outlet across the world. Brand personality. This is what the brand is famous for. This is the difference than USP, as this constitutes the personality traits of that customers, partners and employees use to describe the company and what comes to the potential customer's mind when addressed about the brand. Brand story. How the brand has evolved over the years is its history, its struggle and growth story. All of these add to the credibility of the brand. For example, Amul, it has evolved to be a huge brand which was started by late Mr. Verghese Kurian. Brand associations. These constitute the physical artifacts such as name, logo, color, taglines, fonts, images, etc. These are used to communicate all the other elements of the brand.
The following elements constitute a brand. Brand promise. It is the most important thing that the brand will deliver to its customers every time, independent of the store location. It is how the customers will feel about the product. For example, McDonald's maintains its taste at every outlet across the world. Brand personality. This is what the brand is famous for. This is different than USP as it constitutes the personality traits that customers, partners, and employees use to describe the company and what comes to the potential customer's mind when addressed about the brand. Brand story. It communicates how the brand has evolved over the years, its history, its struggle, and growth story. All of these add to the credibility of the brand. For example, Amul has evolved to be a huge brand which was started by late Mr. Verghese Kurien, the architect of the Indian White Revolution. Brand associations. These constitute the physical artifacts, that is, the name, logo, colors, taglines, fonts, imagery, etc., used to communicate all the other elements of the brand. Let us now summarize what we have learnt in this module. Packaging is an important part of the product as it makes the first impression of the product on the customer. Packaging is done at various levels: the primary level, the secondary level, and the transit level. Labeling is an integral part of packaging and is anything that is communicated through writing, electronic printing, or graphic demonstration on the package. A brand is the idea or image of a specific product or service that consumers connect with by identifying the name, logo, slogan, or design of the company who owns the idea or image.